Hi, this is Paleo Ken. Good to see you again. A few short days ago, or about a week or so ago, I was in a conversation with some other flint knappers about hammerstones and their use. Someone had mentioned, hey, perhaps I should show some of my hammerstones. I do everything using hammerstone and deer antler. Interestingly, somebody brought up the fact that the Native Americans used Chert nodules that have the cortex on them, and I have some examples of that I wanted to show. Here's one that I found in a quarry site where I do all my quarrying, as a matter of fact, in a Paleo Indian site, and you can plainly see the cortex here, and some pretty heavy battering there. That got me to thinking. That's why I started using the same type of cobbles and nodules. This is my version, picked up in the same site, except it was not used. I actually used it. This is all my useware on that. You can see how closely it pretty much resembles the original, right down to the cortex. Like I said, that's a quarry site. They did a lot of large spalling, and what I find is many of the hammerstones they used were large nodules with cortex still on them. So right there is a good example. This has lots and lots of damage. Heavy useware. So I've even used limestone. This is a limestone hammerstone I used for spalling on one of my videos. It has to be pretty heavy and solid. Now lately I've been doing a lot of spalling of Edwards Plateau that I've been finding around west of Fredericksburg, and this is the hammerstone that I'm using for spalling the large pieces, and it's starting to get some use where I've had this hammerstone for 15 years or more. I think I'm going to retire that, but these are the ones that I'm using. These are all the ones that I'm using now. Okay, I got little nippers. You can see they start to get a like a roof shape to them. I don't always use round ones or rounded ones. I'll use oddly shaped ones, but they all tend to get the same thing. Here's a round one. I normally don't use round ones, but once in a while the edges on these get really grabby, and they can peel off some real nice flakes. So that's been my go-to. You can see they get this useware on here. You get a diagonal line going across there, and I'll use this like that as well. Okay, so how do I use these? I think probably one of the best ways is to just to demonstrate how these are used. There's another rounded one. These are getting pretty well used. Oh, here's this is an actual artifact. I was out quarrying rock at another site, and I didn't have any hammerstones with me, so I picked one up and didn't realize it was a native stone until I started using it. So I used it anyway, figured what the heck, and so I just added to his useware. This is original useware here, and that's an original, probably chunk removed from the process from the Native American who was using it, but it was his favorite, and now it's mine. Some of my favorites are quartzite, of course, yellow or purple like this, and chert. I like to use chert. Okay, so what I have here is a Spall of Edwards Plateau. This is raw. This is really, really tough stuff. So I spall it. Often I'll biface it or just make a Quarry Blank and then heat treat it. So, but let's use these hammerstones. Get you down here, okay? And I'm gonna wear gloves on this. Normally I don't, but it never fails. I cut myself on them. So this is actually a pretty good stone. Not a lot of issues on it, but let's biface this out a little bit here. And basically what I want to do, all I want to do is biface it enough to where I can heat treat it, make a Quarry Blank. And I will explain what I'm doing as I go along here. What I'm doing right now is just moving this edge up. Maybe I can remove this bit of cortex right here, and then I'll work on getting rid of this area here. I don't really have a plan set in stone, and I may have to use a different hammerstone, but okay, you can see that I probably could come up a little bit more on that. Let's see if I got another stone here that will hit that a little harder. That cortex is kind of hard to get through. There we go. Yeah. This hammerstone is a little bit harder. So I'm able to punch through a little bit. Okay. All right. So you can see the platform is kind of steep. Let's see how this works. That worked pretty well. Okay. Aim is a little off. Okay, so we're on our way to having a pretty decent Quarry Blank. Now you can see that when I hit, I'm brushing it. So giving it a little bit of a brush. Not used to using this hammerstone. We're going to get rid of this bulb of percussion here. What I like about hammerstones is you don't have to switch hands to abrade anything. You just use what you got. But I've got a cone of percussion right here that's going to make it difficult for me to remove that any further. We'll just go over here. We'll come back to that later. It's coming along. Okay. Should be able to get that. There we go. There we go. Getting rid of some of that. I hope you guys were able to see that. I don't know if it was in the frame or not. Let's work on this some more. Trying to put a little convexity in that right there. Doesn't have to be perfect at this point. Looks like we got a crack going there. All right. Yeah, I got a little bit of a crack on that side right there. It appears so, anyway. All right. See if we can't go over the top on this and get rid of this cortex, and then we're pretty much done. Okay. Let's see if there's be a better one to use. Yeah, this is, I like using this one. It's a little more grabbier. Okay. good one. And this is how my hammerstones get rounded, by doing this. That's a little bit chewed up there, but we'll hit it. And it came off nicely. That's what I like about hammerstones. There's so much you can do with them. So I think what we got here is a real nice Quarry Blank. Everything's under control. This side here is kind of rough. Go any thinner than this and it's likely just going to step like it is right here already. This side here is a lot higher, is considerably higher quality chert. So you've got two different kinds of chert on this, but we'll heat this to about 430 degrees, and that'll be good. So there's my hammerstone demonstration. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.